Games are an interactive experiential medium that can depict stories of trauma, healing, and rebirth like no other. Here are 10 games that masterfully explore trauma and rebirth. Spoilers ahead, and let's get started. In Hellblade, you walk the fine line between reality and psychosis as Senua, a Celtic warrior, battles both external forces and darkness within her mind. The game masterfully portrays mental illness, particularly psychosis, by forcing players to experience her fractured perception of the world. Her journey, driven by deep loss of pain and guilt, is ultimately a quest for healing and self-understanding. Every victory in her battle isn't just a physical triumph, it's a step toward reclaiming her sense of identity. Celeste may seem like a platformer on the surface, but beneath its challenging gameplay lies a profound exploration of anxiety, self-doubt, and acceptance. Madeline's climb up the mountain represents her internal struggle, facing her darkest fears and doubts. Every fall and failure isn't just a setback in the game, it's part of her healing process. The colors of the world shift as she progresses, visually reflecting her emotional growth and showing that overcoming personal obstacles is a journey, one that's worth every painful step. Silent Hill 2 is a psychological horror classic that takes players on a disturbing journey through James Sunderland's psyche. The twisted, fog-shrouded streets of Silent Hill mirror the haunting weight of his guilt, regret, and suppressed memories. As James encounters monstrous, nightmarish figures, each creature represents a part of his unresolved trauma. This game forces players to confront uncomfortable truths, showing that healing often requires facing the darkest parts of ourselves, things we may not want to see but must in order to grow. In Returnal, Celine's endless time loop forces her to relive her death over and over again, creating an unyielding cycle of trauma and rebirth. Each time she dies, she's reborn into a world filled with alien monsters and memories of her past. But this isn't a typical game over scenario. It's a reflection of Celine's unresolved trauma, continuous struggle to survive within her own mind. We actually covered this game in depth recently. Check out the link on screen for more. But for now, let's continue. Gris tells a silent yet deeply emotional story of grief and healing. As Gris navigates a beautiful but muted world, players help her regain color in her surroundings, each color representing a different stage of her emotional recovery. The journey is symbolic of the protagonist's process of overcoming sorrow, with each step forward bringing vibrancy to the world around her. It's a minimalist but powerful portrayal of how, in the face of overwhelming loss, healing can be a gradual and personal experience. At first glance, Spec Ops appears to be a standard military shooter. However, as the story unfolds, it becomes a shocking examination of the horrors of war, the moral ambiguity of combat, and the psychological toll it takes on soldiers. The protagonist, Captain Martin Walker, descends deeper into madness as he confronts the consequences of his actions. What sets this game apart is its brutal depiction of trauma and the haunting choices players must face, leaving a lasting impact on how we view the cause of violence and the human psyche. In Death Stranding, Sam Porter Bridges delivers more than just packages. He's tasked with reconnecting a fractured post-apocalyptic world. As he travels treacherous landscapes, players not only see the physical toll of his journey, but also the emotional weight he carries. The game explores the themes of isolation, grief, and the connections that bind us, even in the most desolate of times. Each step Sam takes in this barren world is a metaphor for humanity's need to rebuild itself and reconnect after experiencing trauma and loss. Control is a supernatural thriller that blends mind-bending action with a story of self-discovery. Jessie Faden enters the Federal Bureau of Control seeking answers to her troubled past, only to find herself entangled in a world of paranormal phenomena. As Jessie delves deeper into the Bureau's secrets, Jessie unravels the trauma from her childhood and her search for closure. The game is a surreal journey where personal healing intersects with reality-bending powers, showing how confronting trauma can sometimes involve embracing the unknown. Nier Automata is a philosophical masterpiece that explores existential themes of life, purpose, and suffering, especially through the eyes of androids caught in a seemingly endless war. The protagonists, 2B and 9S, must face the cyclical nature of their existence, struggling with their purpose and questioning what it means to be alive. The game presents the concept of rebirth not as a literal resurrection, but as an existential journey that forces its characters to confront their own identity, mortality, and the weight of their actions in an endless cycle of violence. The Last of Us Part 2 is a deeply emotional story about loss, revenge, and the search for redemption. Ellie's journey of vengeance becomes a tragic spiral, forcing her to confront the consequences of her actions. The game explores how trauma shapes individuals and how it can sometimes distort our sense of morality and justice. Through Ellie's brutal path, the story conveys that healing is not just about finding forgiveness, but learning how to rebuild oneself amidst the ruins of pain. Here on the channel, we're working on a deep dive into this game, so subscribe and hit the bell to join us when it drops. Which of these games moved you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one, and be good to each other.